Hello, everyone, and welcome in to a very special episode number 27 of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. It is so great to have you all here today. Carol Ulker and I created this show as a safe space where cancer survivors and cancer supporters come together and connect, as well as find resources that provide healing, hope, and resilience. My name is Tim Sohn. I am a 15-year cancer survivor and host of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. I'm also a candidate for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Man and Woman of the Year philanthropic competition. And this very special episode is part of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 12-hour fundraiser which runs until 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Every dollar counts and changes and saves lives, guys. And I'm going to drop a link down below in the comments and put it here in the ticker. If you guys would like to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, LLS has helped my family out so much and so many others as well. And I'll talk more later. And I'm sure Alisha, my guest today, will talk a little bit as well in terms of how LLS has helped her out in her story. So I'm going to put the link in the comments if you guys would like to donate. And thank you to all of you who have helped out today during this 12-hour event. Please let us know where you're tuning in from around the world and what your connection is to cancer. And also, if you have somebody on your heart today, maybe somebody has passed of cancer in your family, maybe you know a cancer survivor, or maybe just somebody else that somebody's on your heart, feel free to put their name in the comments. We just would be honored if you would do that if you're comfortable doing so. We so appreciate you being here today, and we want this to be an interactive conversation. So as we go through the conversation today, I encourage you to ask questions in the chat. And like I said, we want this to be a conversation. So what do you think, guys? Should we get started with the conversation? Let me know. If you think yes, type heck yeah in the comments. If you're ready for our guest, type heck yeah. Today, I'm pleased to have a conversation with Alisha Jones. She is the mother of Courtney Jones, who had leukemia lymphoma. And Alisha actually created a nonprofit organization in her honor. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Alisha onto the screen. Hello, Alisha.
Hi, Tim.
Hello, and I see you posted in the private chat. Heck yes, you're ready for you to come on the show.
I'm ready. Glad to be talking with you and your guests.
Well, I'm honored to have you here today, and also our people who are watching are ready to have you here. Let's see who's tuning in, who's watching. Inger is here. She says, hello, everyone. She says, thank you, Tim, for the difference you're making. Well, thank you, Inger. Inger actually hosted the last hour of the event. She was having a conversation with Dorothy Odell. Her dad actually passed of cancer not that long ago. So thank you, Inger, and thank you, Dorothy, for having that conversation. Also, Mark Kageyama is here. He says, hello, all of you amazing people. He was a previous guest on Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. And he has a YouTube channel and a Clubhouse room where he hosts conversations with cancer survivors and supporters as well. So thank you, Mark, for showing up. We appreciate you being here. And Senor Payasada, okay, you have to understand this a little bit, Alisha. I have this screaming goat here. Okay. So Senor knows this. So he says, riding a screaming goat into the intro of this amazing episode. I hope you're not too scared yet. Bringing a little levity.
Not scared at all.
Oh, good. And Christine is ready to go. Thank you, Christine. Christine is the wife of D. Scott Smith, who was just hosting the previous 2 hours ago. He was having a conversation as part of the event as well. And just thank you all who are showing up, all of you who are commenting, or all of you who are lurking and not commenting. I know you're out there. We appreciate you all for being here. And yeah, so Alisha, what do you think? Should we get started with our conversation? What do you
I
think?
think we should get started, and all those people that are lurking, just get engaged and, to ask questions. We know you have things on your mind or in your heart that you want to say. I mean, don't keep it bottled up inside. Just, share. I mean, this is a community of sharing and giving. So we want to hear from everybody.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true. So, Alisha, your daughter, Courtney, was diagnosed with leukemia lymphoma. Could you just kind of share about her story with us? When was she diagnosed? So just kind of take us from there.
Yeah. So Courtney Alana Joy Jones, my sweet angel, was diagnosed with leukemia lymphoma cancer in January of 2017. She was a sixth grader and one of the top kids in her class, straight A student. And she was a very active kid, a very loving and engaging kid. And she started to feel, tired and, just not herself. And, visit to the hospital emergency room revealed that she had cancer. And that was the beginning, of our journey, our cancer journey.
You said she wasn't like herself. What was she like before cancer?
Yeah. Oh my God. My daughter was just full of energy. She was boisterous and sassy. She she had lots of friends. I have a son, and she had a brother that she's very close with all of us in her family. My husband, her brother, who's 2 years older than she is, and lots of, cousins and family and friends. So she was very active. I mean, it's been 4 years now. At that time, we were still going to the mall, So when people went to the mall, and she would go to her store and she would buy, all the things that would make a 10-year-old girl, beautiful and sparkly and fabulous and pink. And that's what we did. She was really active in dance. She did like ballet and hip hop and acrobatics. She had begun being involved in karate, Kaji Kempo karate, and she was really good at it. And yeah, she did everything. I mean, she was really fearless. She would try anything. She's the kind of kid who loved, roller coasters and bungee jumping and wall climbing and, and swimming in the deep water, all the things that most people, would cower. She would, face head on, just being so young and courageous. I mean, I still marvel, at her today.
Yeah, that's amazing. She sounds so energetic and courageous, and that's incredible.
Yeah, very energetic. It so happened that the very day before she was diagnosed, we live like right outside of Cleveland, Ohio, and Twinsburg, Ohio.
Okay.
So January is a snowy month indeed. We had gone to one of the local ski slope areas, and we were doing snow tubing as a family the day before she was diagnosed. So I always think about that day as the last day of our life as we knew it, with all semblance of, regularity and just everything. That just is the line. That day marks, so much for me. That we had so much joy. We drank hot chocolate. We, went up and down the slopes and, warmed ourselves around like the bonfire outside. We had an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day, as a
Yeah.
family. And the very next day, where she did not have any energy, she was very tired and feeling sick. Um, that's when everything, changed in her life and, in all of our lives.
Yeah. And Christine is saying, thank you for sharing your daughter's life with us.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. So, Alisha, could you just kind of fill in the blanks with us? So, she was diagnosed, you found out the news. So, then what happened?
Yeah. So, with blood cancers, um, she started a very intensive form of chemotherapy. She was admitted right away into the pediatric hematology oncology ward at University Hospital Rainbow Babies and Children's in Cleveland, Ohio. And she received, great care. And um, she started like that first round of chemo, hoping that it would just like knock it right out of her system. And then she was determined that she had like a resistant form of leukemia. And it indeed was resistant. However, after a year and a half of going through chemo and brain radiation and lumbar punctures and all of that stuff, um, she was in remission, and she happened to
Mm,
be actually in remission at the time of her passing. But people who are in the cancer community and some that are adjacent to the cancer community, we just know how harsh cancer and its treatment is, on our bodies, and especially little tiny baby bodies and kids' bodies. Um, like I said, she received brain radiation, several rounds of chemo, um, just different procedures. She had a um, uh, got a lung embolism. So
mm,
she had like the deep vein thrombosis and, just the clots that had begun to form in her lung and in her arms. She had the Broviac tube, just to see a child with a tube, just inserted directly into her heart to receive her medication. I mean, just that, if you don't know anything about cancer and you see a child with tubes coming directly out of their heart, that will, that'll shake you. That'll wake you up, and that'll, help you realize the seriousness of, what these kids have to deal with, and adults too. So, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I want to remind everyone that we're here at Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 12-hour fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, part of the Man and Woman of the Year competition, which I'm a candidate for. So thank you all for being here to show up, to support each other, to support Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and most importantly, to support Alisha and her story, her daughter's story. Appreciate you all so much.
Very much.
So, Alisha,
Mhm.
what was it like for you to hear the news when you found out that Courtney had cancer? What was your gut reaction like?
Mm. I it is not the the memory that I'm sure the reality is not as my memory, has captured it, because I, remember sitting in the consultation room with my husband, Cordell, and we knew we were in there to hear something serious. We just had no idea about what was going to come. I mean, I had a child that walked into the hospital. She wasn't like brought in on a stretcher or anything. We literally walked into the hospital. So
Yeah.
we had no idea that we were going to hear that she had cancer. And I swear, in my mind, I don't even remember like hearing those words in like a regular human English speaking voice. I just equated to, like I was saying, just that Charlie Brown teacher, wah, 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 wah. It just took me to like a whole different place, universe, stratosphere, like lady, man, is a doctor, male and female, like I don't even know what you're talking about. This is like, I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're saying. This is crazy. Like, what are you even talking about? I have a kid in the next room that I'm waiting for you to just fix her up, whatever you need to do in this emergency room. Give her whatever medicine, wrap something around or a bandage or whatever. Give her what she needs, and I would like to take her home, please. Thank you. And that did not happen. They ran like a battery of, tests on her. They told us, what was likely to happen. They, did the PET scan, and the lymphoma that could be detected, throughout her body, that shows up on a PET scan as like these glowing, little blurbs on a screen, just showed, the different areas where the cancer had begun to attack her body, under her armpits, in her groin, in her neck, where she had started to form like a little bulge in her neck. We didn't know what that was. I remember as a kid, having like a sore throat, and then you'd get those little, like bulges and soreness in your neck.
Yeah.
And so when they told us that, I guess I have to give my husband, the credit at that point, because he really had to synthesize what they were saying. Like, I was just pretty much, out of it. And I tried to capture as much as I could, but in all honesty, I really don't remember a lot about what they were saying. I just remember just going to like a state of confusion and sunkenness. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even imagine having,
Yeah.
finding out the news of having a finding out the news of a child having cancer.
Yeah.
I shared with us that we have two young girls.
Yeah.
So sending you lots of love, and people are doing that in the comments. So let's go over to the comments. Jenny
I'm
Gold
a
is saying,
crybaby too. I am sorry. I'm
I
apologizing.
brought some pups for you. Here, have
You
some
guys can
pups. I got
tissue.
pups.
I'm
Here you
pulling them
go.
out of that box. Like, why didn't I bring my own tissue in here? It's like, but yeah.
It's
So
okay.
I'll just keep doing this because I'm a
It's all
crybaby. So
good. Jenny says, thank you for sharing your daughter's story.
thank you.
Mark says, cancer is a team effort. Make sure that the team members know they are on the team.
Yeah.
And you were saying about your husband, right? It's so important to.
Yeah. I mean, he had to carry the analytical load of the day until I could catch up,
Mm.
and listen to, the nurses and the doctors, and and begin to start taking notes, and you know understanding what's going on, and trying to Google, but not Google too much, and not WebMD myself into hysteria.
Yeah.
So, which they told me not to do. They said, do not
Mm.
do that. We'll give you all the information that I need. But one thing that I do remember, that I was very protective of my daughter at the time. So by this time, she was given a room, and she was up on the hematology oncology floor with, all the other kids, ranging from little tiny babies to 20-year-olds, and, just the range.
Yeah.
And she's up on the floor, with all the different, people and kids. And I was not ready for her to know those words. I actually implored the doctors and nurses. I said, if you come into this room, you cannot say the word cancer. And I don't know if that was the right thing or not, but that was the right thing for me, because I had to understand it and be able to, um, yeah, I had to be able to wrap my head around it so that I can communicate with her about it. And so it was days. It was days when she was in the hospital before I could tell her. I just told her that they were doing tests, and, they know something's wrong, and they're gonna, try and fix it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had to wait until the right time. And like most parents know, your kids are so much stronger than you think they are. I mean,
Yeah.
God, I remember just not even thinking my kid could like drink out of a cup. I just wanted to give him a bottle, and his grandma said, "Give that child a, a drink." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's a baby." And so our kids can do so much more than we give them credit for. And so I thought that I was preparing Courtney for the news, but I really was just preparing myself. She was a very smart kid. We were given like a binder with all this information about cancer and her condition. She read the binder more than I did. She kept
Oh my
it in
gosh.
her side, and she flipped through the pages, and there were words and pictures, and I I mean, we shared the binder. It was crazy. But so, I'm happy and I'm blessed that the information that she got was to in a way that she wasn't really scared of. She wasn't really overly scared about it. She knew it was serious and a little bit scary, but I mean, we gave her every assurance. It's like, baby, you're going to be fine. You're going to beat this. We're going to stick together. We're a team. You got all these great doctors and nurses and housekeeping and dietary, and everybody. When we say a team, and I think about the entire team at the hospital, from the doctors and the researchers, and we had a special relationship with the lady who cleaned her room. The cleanliness that you have in a hospital, just making sure all your surfaces are clean and you don't get an infection, and making sure that you're eating the right things, and and that part of the hospital staff are taking care of you in that way. I mean, I really look at the entire spectrum of like healthcare worker, as a team, to help my daughter, get well. And so I'm always thankful, for them, for that. She relied on them so much. The social workers and the child life specialists, they were phenomenal.
That's
Yeah.
really great. That's really great. And Nancy Lewis Hill says, thank you for sharing your heart and your daughter, Courtney.
Thank you.
James is here from Massachusetts. Thanks for being here, James. James shows
Hi,
up
James.
on the Showing Up show. So thanks for showing up here. Such a great community of people here. Thanks to all
Yeah.
of you for being here.
Yeah.
So Alisha, you shared a little bit about Courtney before she had cancer. Did she change at all after she was diagnosed with cancer, just in
Mm,
terms of her demeanor, in terms of what she was
yeah.
like after she was diagnosed, Alisha?
Yeah. I would love to sit here and say that, she didn't, that everything was okay, that our love and support and everything just, kind of lifted her up in the way that she needed to be. But, the severity of the treatment was such that it really did change, her. It it took a kid that was really playful and jovial and um prankish, and all those little things. I just think about her, and she turned into a very cerebral, melancholy, um just just thinking child. Just, like she looked and you could feel that she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. And I didn't have cancer, but she literally was fighting for her life. She was
Yeah.
literally fighting for her life. And so she had every reason to feel to feel like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders.
Yeah.
And she did. And it showed. I mean, it took a little bit of the brightness and the sunshine and the sparkle out of her eyes. She she had a lot of girlfriends and friends, and so they would come over and spend time with her. And sometimes they would just sit on the couch and they would just snuggle up under blankets or just watch a movie. Sometimes they'd like watch videos, and sometimes they wouldn't say a word. And that was hey Alexandria. And
And she connected us.
she did.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
Yes.
Alex. Um, but yeah, she had a strong community that loved her and supported her, but cancer really did change her. It changed her.
Mm.
It took a little bit of the light out of her spirit. And when you're a parent and you see your child have any amount of light taken out of their spirit, it takes the light out of your spirit.
Mm.
And it's like that saying, like, you only feel as good as your worst feeling child or something like that. But yeah, you can never get past, the things that they are facing and going through. So it hurt me when she couldn't go to dance class and she had to drop out of karate and she couldn't do ice skating and all the things that if she hurt herself or got a clot or something or an infection, would put her life at risk. So simple things she couldn't do because it literally put her life at risk all the time. I am really very thankful for her classmates in her school district. That Hey, Joyce, one of my local friends. I'm so glad you're on.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, she's right in my community, so we are representing, and she knows me very well. So thank you, Joyce, for being here. Um, Gosh, now I just got I just got sidetracked. But she had lots of friends in her school community, um, supported her, and they were actually the ones that raised the very first funds for a foundation that that I started for her, for pediatric cancer
Yeah.
kids, and and their families, and all of that. So um, yeah, I just want to give a shout out to, to Twinsburg and Northeast Ohio, and all the people. We have people and friends that have supported from all around the country, but really her friends and her classmates at school, when she came to school, when she was strong enough and able to come to school, they lifted her up. They carried her
Yeah.
backpack on the days that she could not go to school. They put a little stuffed animal in her chair to say, Courtney, Sparkle is sitting here just until you come back. So she's keeping your seat warm. So, and her classmates would actually take turns carrying the little stuffed animal to their classes, so she would, still be with them. So yeah, so there, I have a special connection to, kids, and especially kids that support other kids, because
Yeah.
we need a society of like compassionate, loving, caring people. Um, they could have treated her so differently, and maybe in other places they would have treated her differently. She's a young, African American girl with cancer. She lost her hair,
Yeah.
and they showed her all kind of love and all kind of support, and the compassion. That was a big thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was it.
Thank you so much for sharing. And we're going to talk about your foundation in a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, LLS does a lot of work with pediatric cancer as well. But I want to go to the comments for a minute. Mark Lee says North Carolina in the house. So shout out to North Carolina.
Hey, Mark.
He says such powerful story. Dorothy says Alicia's point on being out of it while getting the diagnosis is so spot on. We need to try to have buddies with us.
It's true.
Mark Lee says, do not apologize. Dorothy says, we are sharing tears with you, Alisha. Please share them. Mark says, we are definitely sharing those tears. And Senor Payasada is Googling his tears.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mark says, only has nephews and young folks. I personally try and support and go with what you went through is a powerful testament to your endurance.
Thank you. Thank you. Man, I think I only have like a little portion of the strength that my daughter had, and I really just use her, as my guiding light when I feel like beat down and tired and don't want to do anything. I mean, I do the what would Jesus do and what would Courtney do, and
Yeah.
those are the things that guide me. Because, like I said, she was so strong and powerful, and um, just energetic and passionate. I mean, as a parent, you feel like you have a lot on you, but she had a lot on her. So I'm like, well, God, if she could do it, then I just need to get my butt in gear and just, do what I need to do. So
Yeah,
Yeah, she's still an inspiration to me. She still motivates me today.
that's great. That's awesome. Mark says, you are definitely doing so much to honor her young legacy.
Thank you.
And the other Mark says, thank you for sharing your beautiful story. And Mark also says, healthcare workers are walking angels here on this earthly dimension. Speaking of earthly dimension, today is also Earth Day,
I know, right?
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside and plant something today.
Hey, you
I'm gonna,
should.
I'm gonna do something to, to celebrate. Yeah.
Yeah. And Christine says, loving all those hardworking medical personnel, they cry too.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I know they did. I mean, they held my daughter's hand. Um, Heck, I wasn't the patient and they came in the room and like held and hugged me when, when I was down and not feeling like I could hold it together, when I was, catching crap for my job for not being, as fast or as, as productive or, all those things that,
Yeah.
you are before your life changes. um I'm like, hey, this is what I have to give you, and if this ain't good enough, then this is just is it. But yeah, that's just how it is. Your life changes, and all those medical professionals, I mean, they held my hand, they gave me hugs, they gave her hugs. you know they they provided lots of support. And Leukemia Lymphoma Society, they're one of those organizations that, that help people in the hospital, as well. I do remember um getting, I think I can't remember exactly what it was,
Mhm.
but I do remember receiving support from Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Mm.
And I just thought about how much support, families needed from so many different dimensions. So just like with my organization, I just say, well, God, there are organizations like Leukemia Lymphoma, like St. Jude or Make a Wish. Are they all doing, what I think I want to do? And we're all doing something different. Um, with overlap, but there's so much that needs to be done in the realm of leukemia and blood cancer research and support and patient support and awareness, and
Yeah.
reaching different populations. Like, the people that you reach are not the people, that I may reach. There's some
Right.
overlap, but, if we all just can continue making those connections, I think that we will make cancer, big enough and broad enough to make people understand that it's not so big that we just need to give up. Because I think that people feel like, well, I mean, what's the difference? What difference am I going to make? Like, it's not like my donation is going to cure cancer. But
Right.
together they make a difference. And if that donation does not cure cancer per se, you know that your donation is helping someone get through their cancer journey, whether they are
Right.
getting, help with a copay or medication, or if they are able to participate in a clinical trial, or try some new treatment, or or something like that, or give a kid a toy.
Right.
There's so many ways. So I implore people not to think about whether a donation is going to cure cancer, if it's just a drop in the bucket. If that drop helps a child or someone that is fighting, And I think it's not just the children, it's the parents too, because if the parents aren't there, then who do the children have? I see that we all need to,
Yes.
to survive this. We all need to beat this. So yeah, I just implore people, just give what you can, make connections in your community, support people like Tim, and your local organizations, your grassroots organizations that see a need and fill a different niche, um, you know need your help.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, exactly what you said. I mean, I don't even have to say anything more. Wow. I mean, yeah. And then I would also just add also LLS and other organizations provide support for families as well, because right, the person who's diagnosed, right, they're going
Mhm.
through so much, but then family members also are affected as well. So I know LLS has family support groups that I know even my mom still goes to, and have other programs for family members. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I just want to go to a
Mhm.
few more comments, and then
Yeah,
I definitely want you to talk about the Courtney Jones Care and Cure Foundation also
sure.
before we wrap up. And thank you so much for being with us today, Alisha.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I know Alex had a question. She said, "Did Courtney have a favorite color or flower? She'd love to plant something in her honor."
She Okay, so she was 10 when she was diagnosed and 11 when she passed away. She was just emerging from her pink stage and had gone to her purple stage, and she had just begun to embrace her, preteen stage in turquoise. So I would say any of those colors, pink for little Courtney, purple for, um early Courtney, and turquoise for, preteen Courtney. So that color just lets me know, just the direction that she was going, and just where she might, be today. I'm sure today she probably even wouldn't be turquoise. Today, her friends are all turning like 16. They're having, sweet 16 parties, and, it's so bittersweet. It's like truly, truly bittersweet, because I I mean, her friends are still close with me. They still call me, and just one of her girlfriends said, God, Miss Jones, I was thinking about Courtney, especially today. And I call her back and I say, sweetie, what's on your mind? What's troubling you? And she said, it's been, 4 years, and I'm scared because I'm starting to forget some things about her. And that really hurt me, because I understand, like, she was a little kid too, when all this happened. And so we think about like the kids, and we think about the families, but the cancer patients have, friends and relatives and people whose lives they touch. And yeah, I mean, losing a childhood friend is pretty doggone traumatic. So these kids are facing that and dealing with that, and I try and support them. I mean, like, we literally support each other. Like, I'm a 50-some-year-old woman getting support from like a 16-year-old girl, and vice versa. But, we have that commonality of,
Yeah,
loving Courtney and supporting each other. So,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about what inspired you to create this foundation. What's the story behind it?
Yeah, for sure. So, I founded Courtney Jones Care and Cure Foundation. And the foundation started just from conversations that Courtney and I would have. She'd be sitting in her hospital bed, bored out of her mind and watching HGTV and cartoons and whatever else would come on, like hospital television. And we just had an amazing time to talk and bond and think about the future. And she would talk about the other, kids in the hospital and how she wanted to help them and give them things. I mean, she had the cutest pajamas, and she had her grandpa and grandparents and cousins and dad bringing her anything she wanted. The girl didn't like want for anything. She was, like, quite honestly spoiled rotten. But we know that other families were not in that position. And she was a very compassionate child, and she wanted to help, those kids and those families. And I told her, I made a promise. I said, we are going to do that. Just let's get you together. Let's get your cancer beat, and we'll do anything you want to do. We're gonna help everybody. And gosh, I mean, that day where she got to do the lion's share, that it didn't happen, but I do have, her memory and what she implored me to do, and the promise that I made that we would do it. And I always tell people, I said, I'm her mother for the rest of my life. I'm not her mother for the rest of her life. So when her life ended on this earth, I didn't stop being her mom. I'm still her mother, and I still mother her. And this foundation is a way that I mother her. So I feed it, I nurture it, I take care of kids. I made a delivery of comfort cases to Akron Children's Hospital this morning. I'll be making deliveries to Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital soon. And I do things. I think about those families when we first walked into the hospital, and we were there for 30 days before we got a chance to walk out, just for a little bit before she, began the cycle of back and forth. And we provide comfort cases. We buy a suitcase that has like an Amazon gift card, or, a big retail gift card. It has a lap desk where they can, sit on a couch and like write or draw. We put arts and craft content in there. We put like 10-foot phone chargers in there with the multi-device phone chargers. I mean, toiletries, and we just put all kinds of stuff. And really, a lot of the things that I'll find on sale, because I'm really frugal and I'm trying to stretch our little small nonprofit dollars. But I just remember the things that I felt like I needed and my kid needed when we walked into the hospital and didn't know we were going to be there for 30 days. And as often as we were going to return to the hospital back and forth. So that's why we came up with the comfort cases. And so that's one of our signature giving initiatives. We also, the second part of our mission is raising funds for pediatric cancer. Like Leukemia Lymphoma Foundation, you cover blood cancers, and so we focus on pediatric cancer, all kinds of cancer, any type of cancer, and blood disorders, because the kids on the floor, the hematology oncology floor, one room might have a cancer patient kid, and the next room may have a sickle cell anemia kid, and they're all getting, very similar treatment. So, we take care of all of them. We provide support, to all of the hematology oncology kids. And so we raise funds for cancer research. And the last thing is just awareness. and just spreading the word and letting people know that, pediatric cancer is underfunded and cancer research is, needs more direct support. And that's, those are the things that we do. We want to bring joy to kids and their families. With our research funding, we have earmarked a portion of our research to fund underrepresented students, high school and undergraduate college students, to study under scientists at the Case Comprehensive Cancer Center at Case Western Reserve University, because we want to grow and nurture. We want to grow and nurture a new generation of scientists and doctors and medical providers that are going to, hopefully be the next ones that have the best treatments and the cure.
That's amazing. How do you get your funding? Is there any way that we can support you? We definitely want people to support LLS, but is there any way that we can support you as well?
Well, first we'll get you to be Man of the Year, so we'll do that, and then everybody, after we get Tim locked and loaded with his win, then you can write on in your phone or save something, and if you just Google Courtney Jones Care and Cure Foundation. I think it's not foundation, it's not in the website, but it's www.courtneyjonescareandcure.org. That's our website. You'll see what we do there. Yeah, that's us. We actually have a gala coming up in 2 months. I mean, in 2 months. Gosh, I wish it were 2 months. It's in 2 weeks. I'm nervous and I'm scared. And this is the first time I'm doing this. Like I told you guys at the beginning, like I'm an insurance person that's like flipped into like a nonprofit person. So
Congratulations.
I'm building this plane as I'm flying it and praying all the way. And I'm hoping that people, will come to the gala. If you know people in the Northeast Ohio area, tell them to come and support. We love the diversity of our leadership. We have, we love the cultural and ethnic diversity of our group. And we encourage and are thankful for that. And we want to just really grow a new generation and demographic of philanthropists. We don't want them to be like old stuffy people that have like millions of dollars. We want philanthropists to look like every single person like in the grocery store, whether your philanthropy is $10 or $10,000 a pop. So yeah, look for us when you have an opportunity and you have a desire for, pediatric cancer giving. I'm running the organization. I definitely know the cause and I know where the funds need to go. And we are currently 100% volunteer run. I don't take a salary and no one else does either. We do this on our lunch hours like this and after work and weekends. And that's what we do and how we do it.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Alisha. Thank you for sharing about your foundation. Thank you for sharing your perspectives. Thank you for sharing Courtney's story with us. I so appreciate you showing up today.
Thank you so much for having me. See, I can't see. I tried to put our website in the chat.
Oh yeah, there it is. I'll put it in a banner so everybody.
Yeah, if you put it in, I'll have these non eyeglasses. I'm hoping I typed it right, so you'll get it together. You got me.
There we go. It's right there.
Yay!
Everybody, check it out.
Check it out. All right. Well, Tim, and good luck. To you. We want you to win. You are so committed to this. Just the fact that I got to know you and know of you through Alex just talks about, you know, how you are a champion of the cause of, you know, cancer. You know, you care about it. I mean, you have long been past your diagnosis, but you are still in the trenches. You're fighting, and it's what we need, like everybody to do a little bit of something, and everybody can do a little bit of something. And I know everybody's thing is not cancer,
Yeah,
but you know, we'll, you know, a little bit everywhere will help us all get far.
that's true. That's true. And we'll make so much progress if we do it together.
Together, yes,
Just like that.
absolutely, absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Alisha. I so appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tim. It was a pleasure talking with all of you, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in for this special episode of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, episode number 27, part of the 12-hour fundraiser, Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers. If you haven't already donated and you have the resources to do so, I encourage you to do so. The link is down there. It's in the comments as well. If it's not for some reason, please direct message me or find someone that, I don't know, just find someone, anyone that has a link. But seriously, thank you all for your support today. You can also go to that link. It has the complete schedule for these 12 hours. There is a show every hour at the top of the hour until 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. And the next hour is DJ Durante is having a conversation with Shrinik Shah, a vocal cord cancer survivor. So you can go to that link. It has the link over there to find out where to go for that show, as well as if you'd like to make a donation. So thank you so much, everyone, for showing up Perspectives on Cancer. And we are going to go out just like we came in. And I will see you guys a little bit later.